Hey everybody, Andrew Lee here from Health Mutual Network and your admin over at the California Insurance Agents Group. And I'm going to make this video today about how to get to $100,000 selling health insurance. Now, getting to six figures is, sort of everybody's milestone when they come into the industry, right? Oh, once I get to six figures, I'm going to be set. Once I get to six figures, I'm going to be able to do what I want. Once I get to six figures, I'm going to play golf in the daytime and, tend to my business a little bit at night, and then, maybe work 4 hours tomorrow, and because I have six figures, right? Now, not to say that six figures isn't, a lot of money. We definitely want to make more, but I'm making this video because six figures, attaining six figures is a lot easier than you think it is. And I'm going to explain why, okay? So when it comes to health insurance, right, I'm just talking in health insurance terms because I am a health insurance agent, right? I specialize in ACA, anything under 65, ancillary products, what have you, dental, vision, and hearing, and Medicare, right? Everything Medicare. So that's going to pretty much constitute everything that has to do with health insurance. So if you're a health insurance agent, you might want to give this a watch. So how do you get to $100,000 selling health insurance, right? You're at $0, right? You're at $0 for your income, right? For your residuals, there's non-existent. You are at zero. What the heck do I do when I'm at $0, and how the heck do I get to $100,000? So when you're at $0, when you're brand spanking new, or let's say you already had a book of business, right? And you just wanted to expand your Medicare or your ACA book, then there's many ways to do this, right? And I just want to make this a clear, concise video so that you know how to do this. So let's say if you're at $0, right? We're gonna find out or you're gonna have to ask yourself, hey, do you have more time or do you have more money to dedicate yourself to make $100,000 in this industry, right? Now, if your answer is time, then what do we have to do? Because sometimes, you come into the industry and you just don't have money. It is just what it is, right? Now, if you don't have money and you have more time, then you have to put your business on your sleeve. Everything you do must be eating, breathing, sleeping, talking, speaking about health insurance. Anything health insurance, right? You have to put your business on your sleeve. It has to be your everything, and you have to be obsessed. Now, I understand that life can get into the way, but this is the mentality that you're supposed to have every single day when you show up. It's a battlefield out there to get leads, and it's a battlefield out there to follow up and retain, right? The sales process for health insurance is generally pretty fast, so I'm not going to harp too much on that, but it's about how do we get in front of clients so we can get to $100,000. So what I did when I first started as a producer, when I had no money, I had $600 to my name. When I first started off my agency, what the heck was I supposed to do, right? I had no money. I just had a bunch of time. What did I do, right? I first started off doing ACA sales, right? I had the pleasure of the privilege of being LOA. Everybody stumbles into this industry seeking some kind of mentor, or you just didn't know that you were going to come to the industry or join the industry, and all of a sudden you're plugged into a system that works. So I think I was blessed because I was working captive as an agency, but a lot of people don't want to be captive, right? But that's sort of where I learned my chops. So I had that sort of in the back of my brain, and I know a lot of people don't want to do that. So what I would recommend is get a mentor that has already done this and knows what the heck they're talking about. So essentially it is sort of like a LOA kind of system. If the mentor is really pretty much with you every day, coaching you through everything and getting you through from the beginning all the way to the sale, right? So find somebody, find find some information, find an upline, find a person, find an organization, be an LOA, and learn the craft. You have to learn the craft in this industry in order for you to get anywhere. I mean, I see a lot. The reason why people stumble in this industry, 9 out of 10 people stumble out of this industry after 3 years, right? It is just what it is. The number one reason why is because there's no structure in place, right? And they just don't have anything, solid to say, hey, I can do this perfectly and I can scale this, I can repeat this and get me to 100,000, right? Now, if you have all of the knowledge that you're supposed to have in order for you to get to $100,000, you just don't have the leads to do so, then what do we have to do? We have to lead generate, right? So lead generation will come in multiple forms, okay? So how I started was organic. I had no money, right? The money that I sort of did have, and I was in debt after that, I spent it on internet leads, right? Some inbound call internet leads that my old, when I was at LOA used to do, and they just wasted a whole bunch of money on that. And I realized I did too, because my profits weren't as high as my marketing. My CPA was not, my cost per acquisition was not right. So I'm like, what the heck is this? Now I have to do something to pivot. Now, it was life or death to me, right? There was a gun to my head saying, hey, you need to make some money right now, and you need to be successful, or, you're going to go back to having a job. You're not going to follow your dream. This was my dream, and I had every intention of coming in and, just totally, knocking it out of the park. But, of course, this industry is a labor of love. But, hey, if you're a rock star just as is naturally, then, hey, this might come pretty handy, or this might come naturally to you, obviously, because you have the gift of gab, you know how to market, you're pretty smart, then you'll get to $100,000 faster than other people. But I'm not anybody special, and I wasn't the best student, I don't have the best I just have work ethic, right? And what I did was I put everything on my sleeve, right? Like what I did was I did online Facebook posts with my niche. And what I did was, once I had somebody, really interested, which, once you get your first client, you're like, whoa, what do I do from here? Thank God that I did know how to sell it. I just didn't know how to incorporate it into, what I'm trying to do with my agency from what I've learned in the other agency, right? So once you have one client, right? Let's say if it's a Medicare client, let's say if it's a health insurance client, whatever it is, whoever they are, once you have one client, you're going to go ahead and go through the motions, however you got in front of them. Let's say it was a referral, right? Because you were at the time desperate for anything, so you called up your friends, you called up family friends, you called up family, you did whatever you could, and finally you signed somebody up, right? Now from there, even if they weren't family, let's say if they were just friends or your neighbor or just somebody, maybe a friend of a friend. From there, what I did was ask for 3 referrals. I didn't get off the phone with them until they got me 3 referrals, or I didn't leave that house until they gave me 3 referrals. And also in the meantime, while I was doing that, I was doing everything I could to get business. Like, guys, you just have to be extremely serious about what you're doing for you to get results, right? And then from there, you just compound what works. In the beginning, I was throwing, mud at the wall, right? I was just doing whatever I could. I was standing in front of the Uber enrollment. The people, when you start enrolling into Uber as a driver, of course, they're 1099 people. They don't have health insurance. And when I was first starting off, I was standing in front of their line and saying, hey, I'm thinking of doing Uber, but, I also do health insurance too. Hey, because I was, sort of talking with them, you're sort of in the line and you're sort of, there for the process and all that. So you start meeting people. And I was just like, I just threw it out there. I was like, yeah, I do health insurance too. It's like, yeah, I actually might need some health insurance. So that happened, right? I finally got a client. And what I did is I went through the full process because I already knew how to sell it. If you don't know how to sell it, learn from somebody else. Like I said, get a mentor. But I already knew how to sell what I knew how to sell, which was health insurance, which is under 65 health insurance. So I went ahead and enrolled that person, and I didn't get off the phone with them. I did meet him, of course, in person, but I, solidified the sale over the phone. And what I did was I asked him, hey, who else do you know? Because I know that, you just got here from X country, right? It was a very specific situation where this person was from a different country and they just got here and that's their job that they wanted, that they had to get because of whatever the situation was. So he referred me over to 2 other people just because I did a good job. The only way that you get referrals is if you do a good job and you consistently do so and you are professional, right? And they have full trust over you. So that person referred me over they were in the Mongolian community, referred me over to other Mongolian people, and that starts going, right? So the next person I'm asking, who else do you know after I do the pitch and after I enroll them, who else do you know that needs coverage, right? And they give me 2 more names. I ask, who else do you know? Not do you know anybody else that can, that is looking for coverage that's sort of in your same situation? That's never going to work out, right? Because now they're like, well, I'll let you know, Andrew, when somebody does ask me, thank you. Instead of, actually, that person downstairs is, I don't know what their specific situation is, but yeah, maybe you can go ahead and I'll have them reach them out to you. How about that? And I'm like, that's great. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you so much. So you can do that. You can do referrals. I mean, you could go on, Facebook groups, for God's sake, right? Like if you're into paintballing, if you're into, fishing, if you're in a hoop league, like a basketball league, if you're at a church, church is a little bit sensitive, obviously. But if it's something that's, okay to do, and it's, it's not so much against, the religion to introduce health insurance and sort of do Medicare presentations at a church, that's up to you, but just do whatever you have to do, but do it with conviction. Come in there, fake it till you make it. I know a lot of people are 50-50 on that statement, but what else do you have? You just have time. You don't have any money to spend on leads. Fake it till you make it. Do everything organic that you can to get in the door and to get you some leads. And you have to consistently keep doing this. Even having an online presence, putting a blog up, right? Doing anything that you can garner attention, right? Go on, Twitter, right? Even go on Twitter, go on LinkedIn. Just post educational content and put your number in there, and you're gonna be surprised that people call you. And then those are the most easy leads. They're the most laid down kind of leads that you can get. So that's sort of the base of what you can start off at. So that's going to probably get you from 0 to whatever, $25,000, right? You're just starting off getting your residual income. Now, from there, you might want to, okay, so I have a little bit of money. So I might want to spend some money on some, maybe internet leads, or I might want to spend some money on some seminars, or I have enough money to throw a party for somebody and do an enrollment, with them, during that party, get some kind of permission contacts. If you're doing Medicare, if you're doing health insurance, just get a form and just be like, hey, come on, come all. And then, now we have a CMS scope that we have to do for ACA as well too. So just make sure you do all that, and then that's how you can garner leads. That you can generate leads so easily just doing that, right? And then just consistently follow up. The problem with a lot of people is they do not follow up. They call them once, and that's it. They just think that's that. No, keep following up with them, especially if you have $0. You're at zero. It's life or death for you, or you're going back to your other job that you had, or you're going back to some other thing that you didn't want to be doing. This was your dream. Take it seriously, right? Do everything you have to do to survive, right? Have a six-figure mentality, right? And then you're going to get there, right? If you have some money, then, maybe if you want to start running your Facebook ads and start building a brand, that'll probably get you there a little quicker than just spending time. But generally, I don't see a lot of people spending that much money if they're below $100,000 a year on advertising. So if the organic marketing works, just keep doing that. And then just keep doing it every day. Just make sure you tell yourself, I'm going to do one a day. The math on how you can get a six-figure renewable income, let's say for Medicare, is in California. If you're at around 300 apps, that's about, I'm probably not going to do the math correctly, but $120,000 to $130,000 a year. Just off of doing that, true ups with a combination of like true ups, and true up meaning new to Medicare, so getting the full commission, or half of it, the renewals. You're still going to be at six figures. In California, we have the highest commissions for Medicare Advantage, so you can get there pretty easily by doing that. Just doing one a day and finding out how to do one a day. Like, let's say if you are a life insurance agent, let's say if you're a PNC agent, let's see if you're an annuity agent, a long-term care agent, like whatever it is, you can go into your book of business and just go into the year right now is 2023. Just go in there and just toggle down whatever is anybody that's born 1958 and before, just go ahead and search them and say, hey, I already took care of your life insurance. And life insurance is a sales process, right? Whereas with Medicare, we're more like it's an enrollment process. We're marketers, right? If you've already did the whole spiel of, the whole GoFundMe and, tugging into their heartstrings and getting them the life insurance policy that you guys had to do, and do all the sales tactics that you had to do, then Medicare enrollment or under 65 enrollment should be a breeze. It should just be like something else that you say, hey, that's what I do, and therefore I can help you out with it. So consistently doing that and taking action every day, just doing one a day will get you to six figures extremely easily. Where a lot of people fall off is discipline. They have no discipline, right? They don't show up every day. They make excuses for themselves, and they blame it on circumstances, where circumstances are never supposed to be, the issue, right? Unless, you're in a hospital and the worst came to worst, right? Even the biggest killers that I've seen and I've met are still working for the hospital. Not to say that that's a safe thing to do, but that's just the mentality that we have. Of course, the doctors are going to come in and say, hey, I don't think that's going to be a good idea. Put down the laptop. You can take a couple days off. People like me are like, no, I can't. And I know a lot of killers that do. So it's also a mentality thing, right? If you have this, go-getter mentality, if you're strong-willed, and you don't take no for an answer, and you don't feel sorry for yourself, and woe is me, and there's other shiny object syndromes like this company's going to pay me $60,000 doing internet software sales because this Medicare thing is just not working out, or this health insurance thing is just not working out. That kind of mentality will kill your drive to getting to six figures, right? So just again, doing the math, if you sell one a day, just one a day for Medicare, you're going to get there, right? For ACA, it's going to be a little bit different, right? For Cover California, I would recommend if you're selling a Cover California policy, right? Commissions here are about $4 to $20 a month. That's not going to get you to six figures unless you're doing volume, right? So make sure you're gonna bundle other policies so that your cost per acquisition is actually worth it. Now, once you start doing that, then you start getting a lot more money per deal. And once you sign up a family, man, you're at like what? $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 a pop for a health insurance policy under 65 by cross-selling. I mean, shoot, do the math. You keep doing that, you get to six figures in no time. So there's no reason why people should not be in the six-figure range, especially if you've been doing this for 1 or 2 years. Like by second year, you should definitely be at six figures because you got everything out the way and you got all the kinks out the way and you're just executing. The only reason why people don't get to six figures is because the execution is lacking. They know what to do. It's just one thing happens and another thing happens, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, okay, like I'm just not selling stuff. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's my upline's fault. Oh, I wish I had this leads, or no, I'm actually going to shop this upline because this upline has better blah, 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 blah. No, the problem is you, right? If you don't make six figures in this industry and you're putting in the work and you're doing all the right things and you're consistently marketing, you're consistently putting yourself out there, no matter if it's physically out there, no matter if it's online, no matter if it's networking, no matter what it is, no matter how creative you can get with your marketing, you should be doing that. You should be consistently be doing that. And if you do properly, you'll be at 100,000. I promise and I guarantee that you will. So a lot of people, that are striving for six figures and aren't still there yet. There's two types of people, right? It's just the fact that you just haven't been there yet because you're on your way, or you're just going to be stuck at where you are because of your bad habits, right? It's bad habits meaning, do you know how to handle conflict? When conflict happens to you, how are you going to respond to that conflict? And how is that not going to deter you from you getting to your goal to 100,000? You have to be obsessed. Grant Cardone says this. You have to be obsessed or you're going to be average. The average median that, somebody makes, I'm going to say, the demographic is a male because I'm a male, is probably around $30,000 to $40,000 a year. Now, we didn't come into this industry, the most lucrative industry out there, right? The oldest lucrative industry out there, residual income, helping people, right? One of the most lucrative industries out there. There should be no reason why you're not making $100,000. This is such a rich industry. There's so many opportunities. There's so many ways to market. And, people, again, don't have the right mentor, don't have the right setup, don't have the right mentality, right? Mentality is going to be extremely important. Right? It's all going to be what's here, what's in between the head. So, guys, if you're not at six figures, here are the Spark Notes as to how to get there, okay? So, 1, find somebody that's going to teach you or find this out yourself. Have a Google, have a YouTube mentality. I taught myself how to sell Medicare by watching YouTube when I first started. I was one of the orphans where I didn't really have an upline that was that helpful to me. So that's how I learned. Right? Because I'm self-sufficient. I'm passionate. I'm like, I'm going to freaking do this. I'm going to freaking do this because I can and I need to. Right? Whereas some people, it's like, oh, like, it's a part-time job. It's this and that. It's like, no, don't be distracted by all that. Have a streamlined tunnel vision to 100,000. Count backwards, by the way, too. If you get a deal and, that deal was worth, $1,000 for the annual premium. And, even though if it's not advanced commissions, month to month, that's what you're receiving. And if they, obviously if they stay for all 12 months, let's say for like a, ancillary policy with Covered California or something like that, then at the very least, you can count backwards so that you can give yourself some kind of motivation to say, okay, I'm at 99. I mean, it's just, these are all just mental tricks that I would do, but now you're at 99,000. Like, how do I get down to 0 from there, right? So, again, guys, it's all repetition. It's super boring. It's super just repetitive, and it's not sexy what we do. It's just not, right? The people that are killing it are the people who have time management, the people who are just working all the time. Their schedules are completely full because they're doing all the right things, treating their customers right. They're asking for referrals. They're doing 17 things at once to market, right? Getting very creative with their marketing as well too. Whoever's the most creative with marketing in this industry wins. Okay, so all that combined, the mentality, the know-how from the mentor, and the action, right? The work ethic, putting your head down, and just writing policies. Once you keep doing that, all of a sudden you're at six figures in probably a year and a half, right? And from there, you've already hit six figures. Now, spoilers, right? Once you hit six figures, you're going to realize it's not enough. But this video was for you to get to six figures. And hopefully after you watch this, you'll get there, because this industry, I'm telling you, is probably the easiest industry to make it to six figures. You just have to have the right processes in place and the right people to talk to, and just a good positive go-getter mentality, and a closer, a dog mentality about how you treat your business and how you want to envision your life within the six-figure realm. So again, guys, that's just a quick rant on my part here on a Sunday night, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Thank you, guys.